Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Chluy Talk Podcast. I am your host, Hella Chluy. Today's guest is a martial artist slash stunt man slash filmmaker, and he was part of the legendary EMC crew. For those true martial arts enthusiasts, you should know EMC. And without further ado, this is Malay Kim. Welcome, Malay Kim, to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Man.
How
Appreciate
are you,
being
brother?
Here. Yeah. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I totally forgot today was Memorial Day, so I appreciate you for taking your time out of your day to chat with me, man. Yeah, so I'm
happy to be here.
Oh, appreciate you, man. Yeah, I actually spoke to Lippy about I just interviewed her for the podcast, and she mentioned your name. I'm like, Malay Kim, that sounds familiar. And then I looked you up and I saw your reel. I'm like, wait a minute, is he the part of the EMC monkeys? Because I grew up on watching you guys and like, wow, I want to be like these guys, or jumping off, like houses or whatever it was, buildings, and doing like, I think it was called freestyle walking back in the day, but now it developed into tricking with all the flips and all the martial arts.
Yeah, parkour and free running.
Yeah, parkour, free running. Yeah, shoot, man. Yeah. Oh man, let's get started. Like, tell us about yourself. Like, where you from? Like, rep your city. Where you born and raised?
Yeah, actually, I was born in Florida. A lot of people didn't really know about that. They just know that I'm from Long Beach. But I actually grew up in Florida. I think about 2 or 3 years old, I moved to Stockton.
Oh wow.
At 4 or 5, I moved down to Long Beach. From Long Beach, I think I went I went to Canada for like a couple years in Ottawa. From there to Boston. From Boston back to Long Beach. I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Represent Long Beach.
Man, I got so much love for Long Beach. Like, I keep on telling people, like, Long Beach is one of my favorite places to visit still to this day. And
yeah, I
guess I don't know how it works out, but a lot of my guests are from Long Beach so far on the podcast. So it's like, yo, Long Beach is where stars are made. Where legends are made.
Lippy's from Philly, but now she's in, she's close to Long Beach. Now she's in Paramount,
Wow.
Real close.
What was it like growing up?
I feel like it was the typical Cambodian household, living on welfare and, Medicare and all that, low income, living with like a multiple family housing. Me and my cousins, we shared an apartment, like a 3-bedroom apartment. There was like 10 of us, we're all crammed in. It's not until we all separated when we got older. I moved to Boston. My cousins, they moved to elsewhere. When I came back to Long Beach, it was just me, my mom, and my sister. And, it's that struggle that we all went through, you know what I mean? Like low income, everyone's trying to come up in a certain way. And then during that time, it's hard because my cousins went through it because, the whole gang activity.
Right.
No matter where you went, there's gangs around. I stayed away from it as much as I could. And then, as I grew up, it started to fade down a little bit. But it's still there, that gang culture is still there. So I was a little bit involved. I wouldn't say I did any crimes or anything like that, but it's just like, those are my homies, we looked out for each other. And, anything went down, we were there to help each other out.
Wow. So
that's
like the early 90s. So I could relate to like, like it seems like the story is the same with the like immigrant parents, like welfare and stuff like that, and low income housing. Yeah, and it was like Long Beach, Lowell, Seattle, like throughout the nation is like where our Ellis Island is. So it's like similar story, but
very similar.
I think I grew up in the Northwest, so I remember seeing gang culture kind of come from Cali. Like some of the people moved from Cali. I think they were fugitives or something. They moved to Cali. They started gangs in Seattle, Tacoma, and like, wow, okay. Yeah. So that's how it was. But I managed to luckily stay away from the gangs as well because, there's no one I feared more than my parents. They'll kick my ass if I join a gang.
That for sure. So that's actually the reason why my mom made me do activities, out-school activities, because she really wanted me to stay from gangs. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't the fact that she put me in those activities. It was just the fact that, like you said, like, man, I'm not trying to disappoint her. Mm-hmm. I'm the only son. I'm not trying to die.
Exactly.
And, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And those activities, was it martial arts? Did you get put in a karate school or something?
So first I started breakdancing in high school. Mm-hmm. So that took up a lot of my time, my freshman year. And then I got into martial arts, and then she saw that I was practicing like 2 times a week. She's like, let's just make it official. I'm gonna sign you up for Taekwondo classes, and that's where it all started.
Taekwondo
At 14.
14 too? Yeah, that's when I started Taekwondo at 14. Like I had to really beg my mom. But like I had a role model that I looked up to. His name was Sam Peck. He's family friend. He was in Taekwondo and he's really good. And he had to like really convince my mom to put me in. Because to ensure that I was safe. And I think it was good for like staying out of trouble, discipline. Being involved in that activity. So I was really thankful that he actually like helped let me get my childhood dream was to be in the martial arts, and Taekwondo was fun. So you're 14, and what style of Taekwondo were you? ITF, WTF?
So when I first started, I was learning through a martial arts club at my high school, and Tuan Heng, who was a senior at the time, he started up the club. I think when he was a junior or a sophomore, just to teach friends. So we just learned like it was Taekwondo mixed with other martial arts. He didn't want to call it Taekwondo. He just called it Martial Arts Union.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a blend of, because we had other kids that did karate, we had other kids that did kung fu. And then that's when I started doing 2 days a week just after school.
It's part of your school program? Put me in that.
This is just like a club,
Dang.
You got your key club, you got your Spanish club, you know what I mean?
Damn, I wish I had that in school. Shit, I would have been all over that.
Yeah. So I did that for a little bit, and then luckily the school that Tuan was coaching at was nearby my house. I could walk to it. So my mom signed me up. So it's a Cambodian school, Cambodian Taekwondo school.
Oh.
So most Cambodian Taekwondo schools are ITF from the get-go.
Okay.
Yeah, but we transitioned to WTF because that was the new thing.
Oh, wow. So you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, I did ITF all the way through. I liked it. It's just I was actually pretty good at point sparring and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
But I like continuous sparring, but I felt like it was limited to like we can't really knock people out. So it was like I think W12 is more kind of like a real world type situation you fighting, and I think they allowed knockouts, right, in W2F, like Olympic style sparring.
ITF you can knock out too. It really depends the division you're from, because ITF is more old school in terms of like I'm gonna hit you as hard as I can. Certain divisions will be like, oh, you're too aggressive. You got to calm down. But some WTF is like you can go all out.
Yeah,
as much as you want. Yeah.
Shoot. So how far did you go in like Taekwondo? Did you get your black belt, and did you compete in any tournaments and stuff like that?
I started when I was 14. I got my first black belt at 16 or 17. I think it was 17. I was heavily into sparring. I did maybe a couple of competitions. I didn't do so well, but I don't like fighting in a tournament. What do you call it? Atmosphere. I like doing underground fights. Oh. So we would do fight clubs with our own crew, or fight clubs. We invite other kids to come join us at our dojo every weekend, and we just spar all day. Taekwondo.
I love it.
When I was 16, before I got my black belt, Tuan, he coached me boxing and Gun Kamai. Because he trained at Omri's gym in Long Beach. Famous Cambodian kickboxer.
Yeah.
Down in Long Beach.
Oh yeah.
So him and his brother trained there, and then they trained me.
Gun Kamai.
That's where I learned. That's where I learned kickboxing.
Man, I wish I had access to like Gun Kamai. That's a,
there's not a lot of Khmer boxing schools.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
And it's like,
I know there's one in like, I think there's one in NorCal. There's one in like somewhere in Ohio. Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah. So that's really cool that you did Gun Kamai. Like that was something I wanted to do like later on, like kind of after college. I think when Ong Bak came out, I'm like, damn, this guy looks like me. He's like, he's dark skinned. I'm like, yo, this guy gotta be like, had a Tony Jaa. I was like,
yeah,
is he Khmer?
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, he claimed Thai, but I think his wiki says he's like Khmer Sarin. So I'm like, yo,
Khmer Sarin, yeah.
That's like, wow, if he can do it,
he speaks a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, that makes me proud to see. Like, I think when Ong Bak came out, like, yo, this like he introduced like realism. Like he looks like he kicking punches. It
mess
really
people up.
sells the choreography is like it looks like he really elbow people. It looks you know how some
he was
kung fu
decking
movies
people.
are like they're like 10 feet
Yeah.
away and people fly and like yo, but Tony Jaa really sold the fight scenes. Like really like yo, this shit's like real deal. So like the elbows, the whole upside down elbow, that shit was crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, that all that stuff came from his mentor Panariti Krai, and he was the one that started the whole like everything's gonna be raw. We're gonna hit each other for real. Everything has to be natural. And he trained Tony Jaa for like the longest. He was just some stunt guy that worked under him, and then eventually he made him like his star, his guy.
Dope. And I'm glad to see he's still doing it. He's still doing movies
He's still
now
doing it,
to
man.
this
He's up
day.
there.
I'm like, wow, that gives me hope as like a fanatic of martial arts, like or the next generation, like maybe like people like us that want to do like movies or stunts. Like I feel like you and Lee P is like opening doors. It's giving us hope. Like yo, if they can do it, we can do it. Like it's like you're like our role models for like.
Yeah,
that was like my childhood dream to be like Jackie Chan or like a Jet Li. Like a stunt career, like a fight scene, make fight scenes and stuff on screen.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about paying it forward. The people that inspire you from before, you want to do the same for the next generation. So hopefully it just fans out and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
And we gotta help each other out.
Definitely. Appreciate your guys' work. I think my first introduction to like parkour and free running was I saw Zin Sarif. I can't even pronounce his name. Is it Zin or Xin Sarif Wuku? Zin?
It's Zin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Was Zin training with you at this Taekwondo school, or how did you meet? How did the crew start?
So we had our own. So it was me, Tuan, and a bunch of other guys. We had our own demo crew. We'd go to like colleges and Kamai New Year's and do our demos and stuff like that. And then Zin had his own crew in OC. So they did all the culture shows for like the Vietnamese audience and stuff like that. We met in 2004 at a gym, and we were just training together. Like, hey, these guys are dope. These guys are fun. Let's train together. So we started to bond as a team. They're like, hey, let's just make one crew. So we all got together and made EMC, and we just kept doing the live shows, all the New Year's, Chinese New Year's, Khmer New Year's, everything as much as we could. It's not until he put out his Urban Ninja video that blew us up. Yeah. And what's funny was he didn't give himself that name, Urban Ninja. It was just a name that the crowd just gave him. And it's funny because he doesn't like to take credit for parkour or free running, because the pioneers were from France. You have David Bell and stuff like that. He just brought it to. He felt like he just brought it to our audience, not so much the Western audience, but the audience that was on the internet.
Yeah, like mainstream YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even before YouTube, man, YouTube was a baby.
Yeah, it was like 05. I think I was like 03 or something. But like you guys, like I don't know where I saw the video, but I think it was on like MySpace or something.
It was like MySpace or Break.com. One of those. That video channel, whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. So I was like, wow. So that's cool that you guys are friends. And EMC, what does it stand for?
Before we merged, we all had like different personalities, and we like the fact that even though we all came from different backgrounds, different types of families, we still had like the same mindset. So EMC, from his original crew, they weren't called EMC, they were called Evolved Monkey Combat. So that's where the EMC acronym came from. So we kept the acronym because they already had that popularity. So we kept EMC, added the monkeys, because we're all monkeys. We like to mess around, we like to have fun. So EMC became more of like, however you feel about the acronym, if you can come up with your own, that's what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. So we never really identified EMC as one thing. It's almost like
multiple.
It's like evolution, right? It can be whatever it is.
Dope.
And even till now, like the crew, we spread out. We're all doing our own thing, but we're still doing what we love to do, which is making film, working in the industry and stuff like that. So again, we evolved every time.
Wow.
So it never stayed one way.
you guys are evolving, because I think I saw Sin being a part of like Warriors or something.
He's on Warrior. Yeah, him and
Wow.
Johnny Yang, both from the crew, they're both on Warrior. You know, he was the lead trainer. One of the performers, he had a small character. Johnny Yang, he's the assistant stunt coordinator, assistant fight coordinator.
Wow.
You know, everyone's working, but on their own,
Wow.
title, on their own way.
Wow, that's major. So
Yeah,
salute to him, man. No wonder he's been busy, man. He's on the other side from I've been trying to get him too, but he's like,
he's in Cambodia right now.
Cambodia, so like wow. And they're on like lockdown, so eventually I'll get to say it'll be cool to pick his brain too. But yeah, he's like, yo, I heard you're talking to Malay. I'm like, you heard right. We're here now, so like, yo.
Yeah.
I love how like social media we could just like connect, you know.
Oh, you can connect so easily.
Just DM, you know. I've been pretty blessed to just DM people, and most of them are happy to be on the podcast, you know. Like, you never know if you don't ask, you know. I feel like that's life too, you know. You got to ask, you know. You got to speak up.
You got to try.
You got to try. And appreciate you, man. And so you played in some like films as well too. Can you tell us about some of the films you were involved in?
Yeah, so my very first job, my very first big job was on a TV show back in 2008. It was called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. That was like the rival to Power Rangers back in Japan. You had Kamen Rider and you had Super Sentai, which is Power Ranger in America. So those were the rivals. So they finally decided to bring back Kamen Rider for a second time. They brought it first in like the 80s. It didn't work out. And then they brought it back again. So I auditioned for that show as a stunt guy. It was me, Zin, and DY. We were both, all three of us got on. But I think Zin had to leave for a job. So it was just me and DY that worked on Kamen Rider for a while. That was my first big job ever. Wow. You know, I was like, oh, I'm getting paid this much for one day. Wow. Like, damn, I'm going to do this forever. After that, the work dried up. It was like small jobs here and there. It paid the bills. It did what it could. There's still a bit of a struggle. 2016, like, man, almost 10 years later, I get called by my friend, Johnny Yang, to help assist fight coordinate on Marvel's Iron Fist out in New York.
Oh, wow.
So I went there, had to move there for like 5 or 6 months, working on a TV show. That's my very first thing.
What year was that?
Came back 2016.
Oh, I was in New York too. Shoot, I didn't know. So you was on the Iron Fist?
Yeah. It's not a good show, but
I'm trying to think of.
To me, it's not a good show.
Yeah.
Don't bother. Don't waste your time.
Okay. But for the most part, did you do like the choreography, the fight scenes, or were you like a fighter in the shows?
So on season 1, I came out as the assistant fight coordinator. All I did was I helped choreograph, train the actors, and what I do is I shoot and edit the fights as like a concept. Like we call it previs, meaning I shoot it the way it might look on the film. So I'll shoot and edit the fight with the stunt guys, with the doubles, and I present it to the coordinator and the director. And then they can give me notes to make changes, or they can just make notes that they can make changes on a day. And it's up to them if they want to follow the shots or not. The coordinator did his best to make sure that we got what we wanted in terms of the action. But it was a hard battle because, you know, it's a creative process where directors want their way, writers want their way, producers want their way. So it's just like, it's, you know, a lot of people with their inputs. You know, sometimes it doesn't work out. And then eventually, a couple episodes in, I doubled one of the actors. He was the villain. He's like a supporting character. In season 2, he became the main villain. So in season 2, my job was just to double him and help choreograph. Eventually, the coordinator liked what I was doing, so he made me assistant fight coordinator as well.
Wow.
So same process. The thing about season 2 was I didn't have to do the edit. I didn't have to do any shooting or editing. So I had a
more control.
You know, rest. I get not more control. I had more time to relax.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because season 1, it was like I was working like almost, you know, 14, 15 hours a day. You know, I'd be in the office in a rehearsal space for like, you know, 8, 10 hours.
Wow.
And I take the work home, and I'm editing still. I'm editing until like midnight. wake up at 6:00, do it again. Season 2, I didn't have to do that. My buddy Manny, who's great at what he does, he had to do all the work. I'm like, good luck, man.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And like, how did you become like a stuntman? Like, how does one get into this type of field? Like, do you have to know somebody that knows something about it, or do you just kind of fell in your lap? How did you get into the?
For me, it was due to Zin's popularity and the fact that he had a crew with him. He booked a manager who hooked him up with the agent, so they represented him for a while. Any small jobs that he would get, they would bring us on as well. And this is before I got my SAG card. I was just like, we were doing a lot of independent jobs, you know. And then they sent us to Kamai to audition. So that was my first big job. But it's just like, I never planned to be a stunt guy. It just happened. Like everything I did led up to it, you know, learning martial arts, doing live shows, going to like, you know, shooting your own videos for fun. And it just, you know, the snowball kept rolling. And then, you know, here I am.
Dope. You still doing what you love, man. That's all that matters, man.
Yeah. For me, I took the longer route, definitely. All in all, it is a long thing because you do have to prepare yourself to be a stunt guy. Even if you don't even plan for it, it just happened. Even if they're born in a stunt family, you know, they're bred to be a stunt guy. So as soon as they, you know, hit the right age, their parents are like, you know, you've been at this for a long time. You've been riding bikes. You've been drifting cars. You've been riding ATVs. You're going to be a stunt guy. There's different, you know, avenues. You could be a fighter. You could be a high fall guy. You could be a swimmer. There's so many ways that you go about it. As long as you have the passion to train hard and know that it's going to suck when you wreck your body, you know, stunt work is hard. It's not as easy as you think. You know, we see all the posts on social media and people say, yeah, that's dope. I want to do that. You know, just like me as a kid, like, you know, watching Jackie Chan and stuff. Man, that's hella dope. I'm gonna be the next Jackie Chan. No, man, it's hard. It's hard work.
You might break a few bones here and there along the way, but you know.
Yeah, you don't see you know, when you look behind the curtain, man, it's a lot of work.
I bet.
So as long as you can push through, you know, you'll make it.
Awesome.
Just don't let it break you.
Well, thank you for the encouragement for the youth, for the people who are watching.
Yeah.
So what do you love, Malay? What do you love most about the martial arts?
For me, man, there's so many things that come along with learning martial arts. You know, everyone has their own reason. For me, it was just like, I love the visual aspect of martial arts. Like, man, I just want to look dope. That's what got me hooked on martial arts. Like, man, they look hella dope. I want to move like that. I want to punch and kick like that. But then I started getting to like matches, like fighting. Like, man, I love fighting. Fighting is fun. It's not fun when you get knocked out, but just the energy, the raw energy that you get into when you spar or when you're in a match, you know, it's awakening. You know, you feel alive. You're not just like some dude learning martial arts and going through your moves and, you know, for what? You know what I mean? Everyone has their own reasoning, you know, health, self-defense, whatever. Yeah. But for me, it's mainly the fighting, that natural instinct of, you know,
adrenaline.
Fighting.
Yeah.
Adrenaline. Yeah.
Yeah, I love sparring too. And I remember just competition sparring. I felt like I could go forever. Like, even though 2 minutes is a long time when you're fighting.
Oh, it's a lot of time. Yeah.
But the adrenaline will keep you pushing all the way. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. It was just, what's it called? I didn't like to lose. I was kind of competitive. I was really competitive. I have flashbacks thinking about it. I'm like, damn. I could see all these VHSs. My parents used to like videotape all my tournaments. So I'm like, damn, I gotta digitize that one day, and you never know when I might need it. You know.
Yo, make a compilation.
A documentary about my life one day. I have footage of me as a white belt.
And that's another thing too. Like you said, right? It's that fight instinct. So doing stunt work for the longest, you know, you're not fighting anymore, and it's especially. You want to keep yourself ready for film. So you can't be fighting. You can't be getting bruised up or getting head concussions because you might be out of a job. So doing that, you know, I have that urge to be like, man, I want to spar again, but you can't really risk yourself. But so I do train a bunch of new other guys, like stunt guys who want to learn how to spar, who want to learn how to fight, or at least just, you know, applications. So I've been coaching a lot of guys slowly getting back into that fighting mode, just because I need that aspect in my life. I can't just do martial arts for film forever.
Right.
There needs to be that realism part of
Definitely.
it. Yeah.
And do you think, let's just say Taekwondo, do you think Taekwondo is soft now compared to what back in the day? To me, I feel like it's aerobics. Like to me, it's like aerobics. Like I go past these schools, like, do I want to sit here and check them out? I feel like it's more of a cash grab and like aerobics now.
Yeah,
which is cool. You want to stay fit, but we also want these kids to defend themselves in the streets in a real life situation too.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about modern martial arts schools is it evolved with time, not because it's about making money. It evolved with time just because that's just society, how it is. Back then, you learned martial arts for real because some dude might try to take your money, like way back in the days, no one had guns. There's no cops. It's all about protecting yourself. Now we're in a world where there's protection, there's law, there's rules and stuff. So learning martial arts for self-defense is almost obsolete. Not to say that you can't learn it, but that aspect of self-defense is still there as long as you believe in it, as long as you have the right trainers with you. Then, it's sometimes you will find those McDojos where they just teach you just to teach you.
Right.
I think the most important aspect that they still keep with martial arts is morals. Learning morals and ethics. Discipline.
That's
when I was teaching in 2011, I was teaching for about 2 years, and I just see these 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds come in all rowdy and not listening to their parents. To like months later, and they're all like, "Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am." Being polite to their parents, like that. That's still important, even though those kids aren't going to be great fighters or great athletes. That to instill discipline in them, that's very important. And I think that's important for martial arts. It's it's the main point, one of the main points of martial arts. We still need that. Not everyone has to be a fighter, because you've seen some fighters that are like straight up dicks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't shake your hand. They don't bow.
Yeah,
and then they get their ass beat.
So there is evolution, especially with Taekwondo. It's sad for me because I came from a school that we did a lot of fighting. To see now that they're still fighting, but it's really point sparring. They're just touching each other.
Yeah.
There's no real intent
in
the kicks or the punches. That's no good.
Yeah, you can't stop. You can't stop in real life. Point.
Yeah, how you gonna
red?
Yeah. How you gonna touch someone in real life and be like, "Oh, I got you, man. You can't come at me no more. I already got you with my foot. You gotta stop."
Yeah, point sparring. Who's like your favorite martial arts movie star of all time, growing up or even now?
There's different periods. Back when I was like around 4 or 5, man, I saw like Shaw Brothers.
Who?
Shaw Brothers films, those kung fu films.
Oh,
those old school 1970s Shaw Brothers films.
Oh, Shaw Brothers. Yeah, hell yeah. I remember those guys. They were dope with it.
So that got me hooked. And then I don't even remember when I first saw Bruce Lee, but I think it was Enter the Dragon. And I was like, man, this guy's fast.
Yeah.
So that's all I cared about was Bruce Lee.
Same.
And then, watching like Donnie Yen and Jackie and Jet, as a kid, I don't know who these guys were, but I thought these were fun as well. But I still had no idea what they were. Not until like middle school. And I was like, oh, that's Jackie Chan, that's Jet Li. So there's a phase that I went through. I watched like a bunch of Jet Li movies for like a few years. I went back to like Jackie Chan movies for a few years. Then I went to watching like Donnie Yen movies for a few years. So they all helped me like add flavor to my style of choreography or the way I move or the way I direct. Because I don't really want to follow one person. I like to take everyone's ideas and kind of, mesh it and make it your own.
Yeah.
So they, all those big Asian guys, man, they all inspired me.
Same.
Jackie, Jet, Donnie, Bruce, Tony Jaa. And now you have the guys from the Raid. They came from nothing too. I'm like, man, these guys come from this country that no one gives a damn about. They put out the Raid, and now they're way up there. And it gives the inspiration that no matter what you think, like someone's gonna come up and push you further.
Wow, that was like my Mount Rushmore as well of martial arts inspirations.
Yeah.
I remember Jet Li, like what I liked about Jet Li was the butterfly kick into the butterfly twist, like the B twist. I think that's one of the hardest moves to learn. I actually wanted to do that. I think I might have done it when I was in my prime, when I was 15. But I wasn't horizontal enough. I was kind of like this. I looked up, but it's like, yo, that's like a really cool. It puts an illusion. It looks like you're spinning twice, but you're really spinning like one and a half or once. Do you do the B twist too, or what?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can still do it.
I love that move, man.
Actually, did it on my first try.
Really?
My coach, Toon, was like, just throw your leg up and just spin. I was like, all right. So I did it.
Man, that looks so cool on film, man. Like, shit.
Yeah.
And that's cool how, like, tricking has the B twist. So tricking is kind of like a combo of, like, martial arts kicks, too, if you think about it. You see a lot of, like, 540s and B twists and, what's it called? The gainers and stuff. Like, yo, that's all could be.
Yeah, but it's evolved now. Like these younger kids are like, they're throwing doubles, they're throwing hella combos.
Oh yeah.
They're modifying the moves. They're not just adding more twists or more kicks. Like they're doing stalls. They're twisting different directions. You know, it's really evolved.
Shoot, it's like Shosei Iwamoto. That guy invented his own flips. Like he's doing like what's it called? I think he was like, I don't know this crazy kick. Man, he did it twice. Like most people do it once, he'll do 2 revolutions. So like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But yo, these kids they're like defying gravity, man. Like yo, this is like some video game Street Fighter shit. Like yo, I can't.
It's just like everything in life. Like the next generation, like wherever the first generation left off at, the next generation picks up from there. And they move on.
Level up.
And it just keeps going and going
raise
and
the
going.
bar, man.
The next generation is going to be even crazier.
They're going to do like five front flips, quintuple flip. Is that even possible?
Gymnastics competitions, they're already doing like triple backflip.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, gymnastics. Damn, those guys are.
It gets
they got hops.
It gets crazier every generation.
I love to see it, man. I love watching tricking and stuff like that. Like, dang, I wish I wasn't fat. and then you go and see like people like fat dudes doing these beats. Was like, hey, wait a minute, what? I'm like, yo,
there's
no excuse. Like, yo, there's no excuse, man. If there's a will, there's a way, man.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. So how important is Asian representation in films and media to you, Malay?
It's a tricky subject because, we as Asians, we know what we're good at, and that's being exploited to the max. So that's what the Western audience know us for, which is it's a good and bad thing, right? Because we want to show what we can offer, but that's not the only thing we can offer, and that's kind of our rise and downfall, right? The rise is, these guys are unique. These guys are, they have something different that the Western entertainers don't have. But then we taper there because that's all they see us as, and we have. So I commend these other Asian actors who are staying away from, martial arts or like doing just romantic dramas and whatever, you know what I mean? Like you have people that are trying to break away from that and just focus on really presenting themselves as humans. And that's what I think what we need is we can't, in entertainment in general, we can't show ourselves that we're Asians. Like we're just Asians, but we're all people. We feel the same way. We get hungry the same way. We put everything's the same for us. Nothing's really different. And I think that's what we need to represent more. We've already shown an aspect of Kung Fu and martial arts and all that stuff, all the, mysterious Asian qualities.
Right.
But now we got to show them like, wait, we're just like you.
Yeah, we need leading roles, we need we're just as good, we're just as talented, Why not us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's starting to get there, more and more. There's been an influx of martial arts films is coming back. It's coming back. So there's a lot of Asians coming up. But I like the fact that, if you watch Crazy Rich Asians,
I've seen it.
What I didn't like about that film was it's a very cliche premise. It was, but I like the fact that it was well done.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And I don't mind it being cliche because again, it's showing like, hey, we can do what you guys can do because we're exactly the same. We're people. We have feelings, right? So Crazy Rich Asians put us in a different light, showing that we can be as equals. We're not just martial arts dude flying in the air, or the smart scientist person.
Or the nerds getting beat
You
up.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they open the doors even more.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. It got a lot of attention. I think it did open doors.
Yeah.
And hopefully, but it's also like about the rich Asians. Not all of us are rich.
Yeah, I almost wanted to do a parody called Crazy Poor Asians.
Crazy poor Asians. Yo, free lunch. You didn't get free lunch, you weren't poor, man.
Those snaps, you got unemployment. Where's the line at?
I know, right? Man.
Yeah.
Freaking A. You can still do parody. I see you guys do a lot of like martial arts skits and like I think a lot of the EMC stuff was like I saw some role playing. I saw some like you guys were doing like some Street Fighter characters or something. It was pretty dope to see.
Yeah. A lot of our old stuff was catered to like the netizens, the internet audience.
Yeah.
But since we started working more, it's hard to find time, especially together, to plan out those shorts. So we all kind of went our own ways to work in the industry, but we still try to get together and stuff like that. I still put out videos on YouTube. I'm focusing more on delivering action and trying to get more into directing. So I moved away from the parodies a little bit just to really hone my skills, and because we have to keep training and get better at what we can do so that we keep stepping up the ladder.
Dope.
Yeah.
Man. And your YouTube is Malay the Stunt Guy?
Yeah, Malay the Stunt Guy. Or Malay Kim. YouTube.com/Malay Kim.
Make sure you guys subscribe to be notified for new uploads, and check out his reel, check out his fights and the work that he does, the choreography for other fighters so a lot of it's like people, your squad. So it's like I'm over there looking. I'm trying to look for you fighting, but it's like a lot of it is like you're already becoming more of like a director now. So it's like
yeah.
But there are films of you fighting too. So it's like this guy got it.
Back in the EMC days, I performed more, but now that I'm kind of trying to move away from performing and being more behind camera because at this age I can't be hitting the ground every day.
I think that's a cool.
I'm already feeling it.
I think being behind the camera is like a good thing to do because you have the eye for fight, and you could be like, "Yo, I want this angle right here. Give me a POV shot of this knuckle hitting him right on the nose." Stuff like that. So
it allows more creativity.
Yep, and then the film, you get like control of like how you want the film to be executed or how it look on screen. So I think that's a really cool thing to do as a director. A director that knows martial arts is kind of like you got, you know what I mean? You have you got it. So, Malay, what do you love most about being Kamai?
Man, that's an interesting question because it's my opinion is very biased because I am Khmer. Yeah. I've never been Chinese. I've never been European. I just love everything about what we have to offer as culture. Our food. It sucks. No one really knows Khmer cuisine.
Yeah,
and like we need more of that out there because we have some bomb ass food.
Hell yeah, I've been.
And what sucks is like sometimes there are Khmer restaurants, but they offer like Chinese food also. So a Western person might not know what Khmer food is, and they'll just come in and order like fried rice or something.
Yep.
I'm like, why don't you get this like that all?
Our food is elite. If you guys never had Cambodian food, make sure you guys find you a Cambodian friend or find a Khmer restaurant. Yeah. Or visit Long Beach. There's so many good ass Khmer restaurants. All of them are good, man.
Yeah.
I've never had bad Khmer food, period, in Long Beach.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can eat like scalmon all day.
Oh, you talking about the soup, like the
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 lemongrass
basic
chicken soup.
lemongrass chicken soup. I love that. That
Yep.
fixes me up every time I get like cold
Yo.
or stuff. Eat that. You good?
Yeah.
Man,
Come home after a long work day, just have some lemongrass chicken soup.
that's
Makes your
refreshing.
day. It's the food. The food is good. It's the other thing that's sad is like we're kind of hidden behind the ties.
Yeah,
Even though we're culturally very similar.
very similar.
Whenever they see the architecture or the wardrobe, I'm like, oh, that's Thai. I'm like, well, that's more Khmer. That's actually Khmer. That's not Thai.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be one of those people where like you don't want to be a Karen and be like, nah, man, that's not
Right.
Thai. That's Khmer. It's like you want to educate, but without being an asshole.
Yeah, Thai is like so mainstream. Like they're so popular. Their food is
Very
so
mainstream.
popular, and then
Yes.
But I think our time will come, man. They're gonna know.
It'll come. Yeah.
Our time
And
will come.
for me, it's not. There's no hate because we're all family. I'm not trying to hate on Thais, like
Definitely.
or Laos or the Viet. Like we're all family.
Shout out to the whole
you know.
Southeast Asia, man. We have all similarity.
man.
Lao food is so good. I love their
man.
their papaya salad is fire, man.
Yeah.
I like the spiciness.
I recently got into eating Indonesian food.
Man, I gotta try.
There's one place down the street. It's so good. Yeah.
What do you recommend for
Indonesian
Indonesian food? I think there's a few restaurants in my neighborhood I want to try, but I just don't know
Yeah.
what to order. What do you recommend for Indonesian?
Oh man, I don't know what it's called. I forget what it's called, but it's like you know how we have a hope.
Yeah.
They have their thing. It's like a chili paste with the little anchovies in it. I forget what it's called. But whatever you order, get their chili.
Okay.
Their little chili paste. I'll see if I can find a picture. I'll send you one.
All right. I'll definitely.
It goes with all the dishes. Yeah.
Definitely won't ask about it. I'm pretty sure they'll know about it.
Yeah.
All right, Malay. What advice would you give to the kids who want to become a martial artist or a stuntman?
If you want to be a martial artist, know what your goal is. That's very important. We all try to emulate our heroes, which is good, but you also have to find your own way because you don't want to have a identity crisis later on. Like you say, like, oh, I want to be like Bruce Lee, and then you train and you train and you train, but what are you training for? So I think trying to have a clear goal of what you want to achieve as a martial artist is key. Like, don't just do it because your friends are doing it. Don't just do it because it's popular. Do it because you want to do it. And keep pushing hard. Just keep pushing hard. Stuntman, same thing. Like, I see a lot of stunt guys doing it because it's a cool thing to do or you're making a lot of money. But then those stunt guys aren't really at the top of the game because I've seen some that will be like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. Well, why are you here? Why did you agree to the job? As a stuntman, you got to go balls out. Ladies too. Like you have to go hard as a stunt performer because doing stunts isn't just doing martial arts, doing something cool, but it's also about like performing. You got to be a performer. You're an actor still, regardless. You're in front of the camera. You're an actor. You got to act the part. If you're being a bad guy, you got to act that part. Everything has to be full commitment all the way. So for both parts, martial artist, stuntman, go in 100%. Don't let anyone stop you. People will tell you things otherwise, but you just got to keep going forward.
Very good.
That's all I have to say about that. Yeah.
Very good. I appreciate that advice. And thank you so much for your time and your knowledge. And how can we support you?
I mean, just spread the word. We all know about each other, and it's helpful. But sometimes it's if you really like. There's a page I think on Facebook that helps artists, Kamai artists. So just getting the word out there, letting people know about other artists, stuff like that.
Like a Facebook group. I think I made a part of a few Facebook groups that are Khmer related. So definitely, Also, social media. You could follow Malay the Stunt Guy on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Subscribe to his YouTube channel, and just be on the lookout. And also look at the films that you were involved in. So I think, and also follow the EMC Monkeys. Or just go on YouTube and go on that
we got like
old school tunnel and just
videos.
binge watch.
Yeah. You can spend the whole weekend.
Heck yeah. Man, any last words or shout outs before we end this on a good note?
Yeah, make sure you guys do follow because we have something cooking to film in Cambodia. It'll be the first American Cambodian production. Actually, I wouldn't say first because Angelina Jolie's been doing that for a while. But I would say we have something. We hope that's something that's exciting and different for our audience. Something to represent Southeast Asia as well as Khmer, but overall Southeast Asia. We want to show the world that we have other things to offer, and it's not going to be boring. We're going to try and make this fun and entertaining for everyone. So be on the lookout.
Wow, I'm excited for that, you guys. So
yeah,
you guys know what to do, and thank you so much, Malay, and I'll see
Thanks
you
for
at the
having
top,
me.
brother. And you got my full support, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's link in when I visit Long Beach. We will have some lunch or something.
Yeah, we're gonna keep connecting.
All right,
for sure. Yeah, bro.
Take care, boss.